Next one is team. How projects they are executed by people. And the team is essential for your performance there. You can be a very good project manager, but if your team is not working properly, the chance of success of your project will be low. And when you think about team, ideally you want work in a high performing team. I can tell you that does not happen in all the teams for several different reasons. There's always something that you need to kind of people need to be open for that. People need to be empowered for that. They must be willing to work in a certain way for achieving that. But you need to think about your team if you want to be successful. Then that means that you need to also to set the project team culture in the right way, but you also need to think on your leadership skills, of how you are in an emotional intelligence, what's your leadership styles there, and all those things they are going to help you to manage the project. Because in the end, if your team members they're just fighting each other, or you have this type of team that people just sit there and say, "Yeah, that's not my responsibility," they don't want to get involved, and they are going just to do something if you ask them to do it, that will not be a high performing team. And then ideally, you always want to have a high performing team. In practice, that might not happen every time, but that does not mean that you don't need to put the effort, the conscious effort to try to make it happen every time. And sometimes will work, and sometimes will not. Sometimes people will not be open. Sometimes people don't like to take responsibility. Sometimes people don't have the right mindset. Then that's why when you work in the project culture, you are helping to put the right mindset here. And having people with the right mindset, it's essential if you want to be a high performer project manager. And it will be essential for your project success. And then knowing your leadership style, knowing your different, how to adapt your leadership to different environments, because you are going to, you can have all types of different teams, culture background, nationalities, ages, sex, technical background or not, and so on. And all those things they are going to influence how you need to work with them. Then when you talk about leadership, there's not such a thing that one size fits all. It's important that you need to understand how to adapt your leadership. How in a certain situations you need to be much more firm. In the other certain situations you need to be much more open. The type of discussions that you have they are quite important. That if you cannot, then the first step here, I would say, if you want to be a high performer or project manager, it's starting to understand yourself. Because then you start to look on your leadership styles, you start to work, get awareness how you are working. Then you also can think how you're going to develop a project team culture and how you're going to move forward with that. But working on those dimensions, when working with your team on your leadership, it's fundamental to have a successful project.